I come from a country where a class of criminals has seized all the power on the economy, the power on the state, the power on the media, the power on the minds. And I wonder what it has to do with topology. Well, it has a lot of things to do with topology. My topology, the topology I've been always thinking about and working on, is, can I say, the topology of imagination, the topology of mythology, the topology of thought, the topology of the psychosphere. And if we want to understand something about what is happening in Italy, first of all, we have to think about the formation, the creation, the production, the manufacturing of the imagination of people. Many times I heard people saying in countries like Norway or like Great Britain or like Germany and so on, these northern countries, many times I heard to say, ah, well, those Italians, those crazy, fancy people, well, the mafia, Silvio Berlusconi, strange, bizarre, marginal things that have not so much to do with us. Be careful. Be very careful. You know, in 1922, a person called Benito Mussolini did something quite similar to what Silvio Berlusconi is doing today, in a different way. Of course, it was the old time of the nations, the factories, these old things. And the British in that time, or the Northerners in general, said, oh, well, that buffoon, that bizarre guy, Mussolini, who cares about him, fancy things for Italians, for Southerners. Then years passed, and 10 years after, in Germany, something quite serious happened. Then in Spain, then in Romania, then in Russia. Then the effect of that crazy guy was 70 million people dying in Europe and in the world, you know. Well, the problem is that we often think that modernity is that kind of serious, severe, Gothic thing that Max Weber has described in his well-known book about the relationship between capitalist spirit and the Protestant ethic, or capitalist ethic and the modern and the Protestant spirit. I never remember well. Well, we think that that is modernity. Not true. It's not true. That is the Protestant bourgeois history of modernity. In the time when 1 hour of labor had a value. You could say, well, this is the truth of 1 hour, the truth of labor, the truth of time, the truth of reality, of physical property, of the place, of the city, of the burg. We call it bourgeoisie. You remember that good old bourgeoisie, the exploiting class, serious, moral. They did exploit people, but in a serious way. The bourgeois were the class of the burg, the class of the city, the class of the place, of the territory. they don't exist anymore, probably in Norway. Those guys, the honest, severe bourgeoisie, linked to the reality of the territory, to the reality of time, to the reality of the physical property of goods, of physical things, they are out of the scene. They are out because we live in the time of deterritorialization, of financial deterritorialization, of semiotic deterritorialization, of mediatic deterritorialization. Things, physical property, all these no more matters.